is Leslie from We Love Jones here on YouTube, and this is my homeschool organization for the 2016-2017 school year. I'm new to homeschooling. My oldest child is only 2.5, and we have been doing a K-3 curriculum with him since he turned 2, for several reasons. One being that he has a speech delay and has been going to speech therapy. So he started speech therapy at the same time we started doing the K-3 curriculum with him, so that I would have a structure to working with him with his speech and his pre-writing and all that good stuff, and working with him with the Spanish. So this is how I organized his homeschool. I bought the visuals packet that came with the curriculum, and this is the circle time poster, and currently it is in the living room. It's not laminated, and I haven't had to laminate it. He loves doing circle time. We put the weather right here. I haven't bought Velcro dots yet, so I don't know if you can see this if this is in shot, but we put the weather, and it's circle time. We talk about the calendar, what day of the week it is, what letter of the week we're working on, color of the month, shape of the month. That's the way the curriculum is laid out. And there's a cast of farm animals that your child goes through the curriculum with throughout the school year. Actually, it's a 12-month curriculum, so it's throughout the year. And what I have found to be super helpful is this circle time folder. Now, this is a repurposed case file that I had just kind of lying around. I've lugged this around for years. I used to be a case manager, and the shelter I worked for dissolved, and that was closing its doors, and all of these office supplies were just kind of being given away to the homeless patrons, and this ended up in my place, because on the last day before we shut the doors, there was still stuff to be gotten rid of. The building had already been purchased, I think, by somebody else, and we needed to get this stuff out of there. So a lot of us just took stuff home, even though we had tried our best to give it all away. And so this is something that made it home with me, and I just held on to it. It's my last one, and it's sturdy. And so I repurposed it for homeschool. And this first category are the weather cards for the circle time that come with the visuals packet in the Pathways to Preschool for curriculum from Bob Jones, and these are actually double-sided cards, and my son has to, when we do circle time, we talk about the weather, what's the weather like today, and he picks it out and sticks it on the big red barn every morning. And then we do the days of the week, and he has a specific spot over there where we talk about what day of the week it is in English and in Spanish. And these I just made on cardstock and cut them out. I haven't even laminated them. They're just, it's painter's tape. I'm using painter's tape for this stuff. And it works okay, frankly. I haven't felt like I absolutely have to go buy Velcro dots. So then we do the days of the week, and it's nice that he can visually see the order that the days of the week are in both languages, and that they're color-coded, and it's just neat and tidy to have them this way, because they're really easy to find in the morning. I did just have these in stacks and envelopes, and it was just too tedious to flip through the day that you needed. And then the next tab is his work for the week. I separate out his stuff by week, and then I only keep in this folder the stuff we're doing that week. And then he's got some flashcards for the numbers he's working on, and he has 2 sets. He has these little eggs that come in the manipulatives visuals packet for the curriculum, and then these cards, and these correspond to some of the lessons, some of the activities in here. So I have them out categorized by lesson number, and that's how I lesson plan. So again, I only keep the current week in here. I have 2 Bob's books in here because I'm supplementing some stuff. I keep current week in here. That way, every morning when we homeschool, I've got everything I need to get going. And then my son will grab his little pencil pouch, and he knows this is his, and it's got any extra manipulatives that didn't come with the curriculum in here, and his school supplies. And he knows, like, when he'll often grab this to communicate to me, because he's very much he's not speaking yet. He wants to do school, so I always put this out where he can reach it. And he's trustworthy. There's even safety scissors in here, and I've never been concerned about him having them. He understands what they're for. He's never tried to do anything irresponsible with them. He just gets it. So that's that. These are usually in the living room, and this is usually either on the fireplace or in the dining room, because I lesson planned in the dining room. If he burns through the week's worth of schoolwork in 1 week, then what I do is I have some extra worksheets that I pulled out of a different workbook that was given to me by my mother-in-law, and we'll just do that. I almost never have to use this because the curriculum has so many options of things you can do, so many ideas that, I just almost never need this. But it's there if I need it. And then I plan ahead a month at a time now. I was just doing a week at a time, but I do a month in advance. And I put week 1 in just these folders I had just throughout the years. I toured University of Washington once, and so I just put week 1 in here, week 2 in here, week 3 and week 4. And I went to the University of Oregon and Pepperdine University for my bachelor's and my master's. So that's why these 2 folders are the most wrinkly and beat up. And I went to Harvard for a conference, and I have these folders lying around, and I just repurposed what I already had, and I keep that stuff in a basket with any other miscellaneous bulky supplies for any art projects or stuff we might be using for homeschool. Like, let's say we're using Play-Doh, I might put it in here, so that I have it handy for that school week. And I keep this in the dining room where I did my lesson planning, and it's portable, so when I'm ready to do homeschool I can just grab it and keep all of this in this basket and go from there. Every Friday he has a read aloud, and I usually just make a copy of it out of the student teacher's manual, because I don't like to keep the teacher's manual in here. This is just the stuff that I need to have when I'm around him. And these are his stick puppets that go with the read aloud. And there's no pictures because it's read aloud. And so we'll do the read aloud, and he'll act out the story with the cast of characters from the curriculum. And I keep that in just this Dollar Tree little clear envelope that I got from Dollar Tree. And it's all handy and ready to go on Fridays. And he very much looks forward to doing this every Friday. I cannot stress it enough. Sometimes he wants to just do it over and over and over again. And for a child that has such a hard time communicating, and because he bless his heart, he tries so hard to communicate and speak, and it just doesn't come out. And he is so sweet, and I treasure this time with him so much, because I see how he has improved, even though it's been very minimal, as he gets better and better at these every week. And that's really the bulk of my organization. School supplies are kind of all over the place. The visuals packet for the curriculum, the K-3 curriculum for Bob Jones, is all over this house. We don't have a separate classroom, which is why circle time is now down in the living room. It used to be done in the dining room, and now it's in the living room, because it's just easier with my daughter crawling now to be with her in the living room. And television is right up there. And my son usually prefers to do this over having the television on, which, I really thought that I originally had this in the dining room because I thought there's no way school could compete with the television. And what I have learned is that is not the case. My son just seems to, he's right at that perfect age where he looks forward to school. He wants that one-on-one attention from me. And he's happy to have the TV be turned off and do this instead. This calendar and that's where we post the days of the week over there. He slides in those little cards I showed you earlier, and we move this little star on over And he's just happy to do it. So the circle time is here. The alphabet and the colors are in his room, and so were the shape visuals. They're just like posters for each shape. Those were also in his room, but we're kind of running out of wall space. His room isn't very large, and I need to figure out what to do next. Most of his books are in his room. All of his books are in his room. He has a certain set of school supplies accessible to him from the living room: crayons and markers and manipulatives. All the manipulatives are within reach from him. I just trust him with that stuff. He's never given me any reason not to trust him. And then all the other school supplies that are more specialty school supplies, like felt, plates for arts and crafts, paintbrushes and paint, that I keep in a buffet hutch in the dining room. And until we find a better solution, or I clear out a closet and put it in there. And although I am afraid that stuff will be used if I put it in his room, so I may have to go in my daughter's room. It does need to be moved because the dining room looks a little helter-skelter with school supplies in it all the time. There's a battery-powered radio that we use for homeschool, and that's usually in the dining room. And then I just bring it into the bedroom because my son will sit and play with the buttons all day if I let him. It was in his room, but he would play with it. He would play with it at night, and we would hear him on the baby cam playing with the CDs. So that's now in the dining room, and that's it. That is how I organize homeschool. I try to have things accessible to him as much as possible, and his schooling is just kind of incorporated into our everyday life, at least for me. My husband is okay with all of this stuff just kind of taking over. It hasn't taken over our living room. This is the extent of it. Your living room's probably going to have toys in it from your kids playing in it. You know, we have toy bins that are visible from the couches, which are behind the camera at the moment, and we just, our home isn't super large, so you come over, you're gonna know kids live here. you just are. Kids live here. So little kids live here, and we have a little desk for him here with a little chair that's also doubles as an end table, and so it's an end table when we need it to be, and it's not when we don't want it to be. So thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions about how I organize for our homeschool supplies and prep every day for circle time, please comment below. Please like this video if you found this helpful, or if it inspired you in any way. It lets me know whether or not to make more content like this. And please remember to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'm new to YouTube, and I watch videos like this all the time and look forward to it. So thanks for stopping by.